To preface, I don't have any kind of point to make here. This isn't supposed to be the most nitpicky CinemaSins-ass film review ever. I love these films. They're like in my top 10, probably. I mean, not quite the very top spot, but they're right up there.
I bloody love them too.
And what I'm about to talk about in no way at all detracts from their quality. I'm just making this because I know that my fellow nerds will just make them happy in a way that's hard to explain. Just, yeah, you don't get out much either, do you? This image is not actually the original image. This is not actually Bliss, presumably because the original image is, frankly, microscopic and would not look good at all on a cinema screen. Windows XP makes the startup sound when you log in, so arguably it should be here, but it would conflict with the music, so I'll let you off. This is not the colour of the Office 2003 surround image size adjust things. Hide from search results is not a finder search option that exists. The screensaver here is technically a little bit inaccurate. The one in the film is slightly more tubular, and the real one is slightly more kind of vapor trail-like. It's hard to explain. I might just be going insane.
You are insane.
Thanks. I learned from a behind-the-scenes featurette that in these films they use the slight buffering of the video like this to switch between takes midway through a shot, which is clever, but also inaccurate because this is just his own webcam feed showing back at him. This is all local, there shouldn't be any buffering at all. He's just looking at his own camera. As far as I'm aware, this Ubuntu cross-messenger program doesn't actually exist in this form, especially not with apparent potential FaceTime support, but not iMessage support, because these messages are then shown as sent as SMS when he goes back to his Mac. And they haven't just defaulted to sending as SMS after failing to send as iMessages, because when he then sends more messages later, those are able to send as iMessages. And also, I think it should say delivered as SMS, but that might only be if it had defaulted to it having failed to send as an iMessage. The Macintosh HD icon and also the continuity window showing his phone call are slightly too far down. This YouTube video is playing, but the play button is a play button, not a pause button. The Mac startup chime happens before the logo appears, not after it's loaded. Arguably, the Ucast streams shouldn't be halfway through when David clicks through them, but that's, given that the site doesn't exist at all, I'm not gonna dwell on that. When David clicks over onto Maps, it should have autofilled the search box with Barbosa Chillin, because he was on the results page for that search query when he switched over to Maps. Sadly, that YouTube URL does not actually lead to this video. The macOS Finder Quick Look video player only shows space for an hour value if the video is over an hour long, and this isn't, so that shouldn't be there. Does Google Reverse Image Search work like that? Would it not just bring up vaguely similar images to the first image generally, rather than specifically finding other pictures with the same person?
I stand corrected.
I know this is a fictional website, but unless David joined at the precise moment the stream started entirely by coincidence, I'd have to question why the timer starts from when he joins rather than showing how long the stream has been active for. Although they were definitely paying attention to it because it has indeed gone up 20 minutes when David arrives. Where in the world did this old-ass QuickTime player come from? Even if you managed to get it on macOS Sierra, which this is because it's May 2017, the icon wouldn't look like that on the dock, it'd look like this. Although the one in the bar of the window is right for this version. Windows 10 does not have rounded corners on Firefox windows, nor does it have those aero-ass edges. This isn't wrong, it's just weird that he's using a laptop as per the battery meter, but with a wired Ethernet connection. If you ask me, the filmmakers were using a MacBook when researching this, and installed Windows 10 in a virtual machine and used that for reference. I don't think that iOS font is right.
Why can't they get this font right?
Okay. Okay.
This is not what VHS footage from 2008 looks like. This is what VHS footage from 2008 looks like. This is a rip of a transfer to DVD that was done in about 2009, so there is essentially no analog degradation on this. This is the best case scenario. Unless this was inexplicably shot on DVHS, in which case, fair enough.
Hi, Junebug. Wait a minute, I thought this was broken.
No.
That just dropped frames, which isn't how analog video works. Benefit of the doubt, could have dropped frames during the digital capture process, I'll give you that. Windows Media Player does not do that. Windows Media Player definitely doesn't do that. Also, the taskbar, along the very top, there should be like a slightly different... It's very small, I don't even know how to explain this difference, but it's definitely there. That thumbnail doesn't have the like film strip things down either side, which it should. That Windows cursor looks a little bit off. And you can change your Windows cursor, but, you know, balance of probability, people don't. That blue arrow shouldn't be there. The arrow should only show up once you're hovering the file over the destination folder, and the arrow should be slightly more curvaceous, for lack of a better word. That Twitter video is way too crisp to have gone through that website's video compression. I know I talked about this in the previous video, but that shouldn't have lagged. She's not on a call, she's looking at her own camera output. I have absolutely no idea how I noticed this one, but screenshots in macOS are automatically titled screenshot as one word, not screenshot as two words. They used to be titled screenshot as two words, but since macOS Mojave, it's been one word. And also the capitalization of the AM at the end. I'm pretty sure the Instagram DMs button has never been the Messenger logo. That's not the right sound for starting a video on iOS. PDFs don't work like that.
Hold on, I think I might have something.
Google doesn't make that sound. That is not what getting locked out of a Google account looks like.
Hi, hello? Hi, I think your sound is off.
Hola, ¿me escuchas?
Oh, hi, yes, hi, Javier.
Is it possible to start a WhatsApp call with yourself already on mute? Is that a thing that can actually happen? I just wanted to give special appreciation to this recapture joke.
Whatever. So I have to record her.
WhatsApp video doesn't swivel like that. How is this one a live photo, but all the other ones aren't? I've not been there for a long time, but I don't think that Snapchat font is right. We have another weird appearance of old-ass QuickTime. I can't remember if macOS lets you have file extensions hidden for some formats and not other formats. You can't select a phone number in a sticky note and have it bring up a contact. This is definitely not what syncing a WhatsApp account looks like. As far as I'm aware, CarPlay never shows up over reverse cameras. That is not what secure erasing Windows 10 looks like. The top bar of macOS there is too thick. We've got another slightly wacky cursor going on. Weekend trip to .ke.vi is presumably missing an A on its AVI file extension. This isn't really a technical error, but I'm pretty sure June isn't on a call when she moves her phone down from her ear there. Analog video doesn't usually cut that cleanly. I suppose it could be mini DV, I suppose, which is actually a digital format, so it's not necessarily wrong. We've got the slightly off cursor again. Also, I feel like the borders around the images are slightly thinner, I think. Also, the mouse pointer doesn't turn into the hand when you mouse over the user image. James had previously searched with DuckDuckGo, but his default in the address bar shows up as Google, which is, again, possible, but still a bit odd. And that's it. Slightly more than searching, but that doesn't mean anything. And it's entirely possible that I've missed things, and I'm sure I will be corrected on a bunch of stuff in the comments, but there we are. Once again, I don't have any kind of point to make here, I just thought this was a fun, weird, nerdy-ass thing to do. So that's all.
Okay.
Wait,
Okay.
what is going on?
Your mom.